Hello to you and welcome to Adelante Chicago. I'm Lourdes Duarte. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bienvenidos. Let's begin with organ donation. It is a gift that can save a life, but very few Latinos are choosing to be a part of it. So the question becomes, what is keeping them from signing up? And also, we're going to tell you about the new campaign to get them to understand the difference that they can actually make. So we've got several guests. One of them, Raiza Mendoza. She is the manager of Hispanic Affairs for Gift of Hope. Also, Fernando Martinez, who is an organ recipient, and Jose Betancourt, who is also a double recipient. So welcome to the three of you today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about this campaign because it seems like in the last few years, I have not heard much about organ donation. So what are you doing today to try to bring some attention to it?
Well, I have to say that what we are doing is very successful. In Illinois, 7 years ago, people don't believe in organ donation, have zero knowledge about what that involves. But today, I want to tell you something that is new.
I like good news.
We in Illinois, Latinos in Illinois, have the higher percent of authorization rate, which means Latinos who say yes when they die to organ donation, that in all the country.
Wow.
And that is because I think Latinos, they are so generous. You know, they want so much to help and to give, but we don't have education. We don't know the facts about organ donation. So when through campaigns, we can talk to them, we can explain what is this about, then the answer is powerful. They want to be heroes, they want to help others. And that really has made a difference here in Illinois.
Okay, let's talk about the facts. Why is it that Latinos may be so scared of becoming an organ donor? What is at the core of this?
Well, there are many situations. One is language barrier. So they go to the hospital, they don't speak English. It's a difficult situation when your loved one dies. You don't understand anything, and when you have the power to say something, because it's when they ask you, can your loved one save a life, they say no, okay? But we work that with education. The second, we have the highest number of people uninsured. What means that have less access to transplants. And it's kind of what, you know, how much I give, how much I receive. Then we have the highest number of undocumented people. And that is so important. Now with the TVDL, they can register and be organ donors. So that is a great tool that we have so they can become organ donors. And the other is the myth. And we all know that.
And I've heard this before, and that is that if you are in some sort of accident and you go to the hospital, doctors will not fight as hard to try to save you because you are listed as an organ donor. And that obviously is not the case, but for some reason it's out there.
Yes, and that is, I would say, the myth number one. You know, when you arrive to an ER in a hospital, the first thing the doctor are going to do is try to save your life. You are the most important thing they want, your life saving. Only after all the efforts are not successful.
Do they even ask you? Yeah.
Yeah, only after the patient is considered and declared dead is that then we consider organ donation. Okay. So if you were in the first person consent registry, okay, we are going to talk to your family and say your loved one made the decision to do, you know, to be an organ donor, so you don't have to do it.
I want to keep talking about this with you and, you know, how you become an organ donor, but I want to bring Fernando into the conversation because you have just an incredible story, and you said it yourself, we haven't heard of a story like this really any time in the last few years. So I want you to tell it because you needed an organ donation, and something happened to your wife that she was able to be the one to be your donor.
Yes.
So explain to me what happened.
Happened on the 3rd of this month. We were on our way to one of my appointments. I was supposed to get an ultrasound because they had previously found liquid around my heart. On the way there, my wife stepped out of the vehicle and she complained about a headache.
Your wife had never been sick before? No problems?
She was healthy. And we walked to my appointment. There I was registering, and she turned to me and she signed me in to approach her. And she couldn't talk. She just said she needed to go to the hospital. And on our way down, we got down to the first level. She couldn't walk anymore. We sat and waited for the ambulance to come in, which was right next door. When they came, they laid her on the
gurney.
on the gurney, and she wasn't responding anymore.
Yeah.
Later in the hospital, they pronounced her deceased, and a person approached us, and they said that she was a donor.
She was a donor.
Yes, and they asked if there was somebody in the family that needed an organ, and I said myself. They asked me which hospital had my records. I said Loyola. They called Loyola, and they couldn't find me anywhere. Later, they said that because I wasn't on the list, I couldn't receive anything from her. That broke me.
Yeah.
So the family, they asked her to keep calling because they did have my record. And finally, but an hour later, she came back and said that they found me.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't sure that I was still going to get transplanted because I wasn't on the list. So she continued to call, and about half an hour later, Loyola called and said they reactivated me on the list.
Yeah. So your wife was able to become
Yes.
your donor through this just horrible episode where she passed away, was perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with her. You, meanwhile, were in and out of the hospital because you needed this organ donation, and she just miraculously was able to become your donor. That is an
Yes.
incredible story.
She was an incredible woman.
Yeah. And I know this is very rough for you.
Yes.
But it goes to show you how important organ donation can
Yes,
be. And
it
here
is.
you are today telling us this story and kind of living on through her.
Yes.
So it's nice to see. And I know that also, Mr. Betancourt, you have a great story as well that I'm sure you want to share with us.
Yes, I'm a double organ recipient. Back in 2011, I got real sick to the point that they determined that I needed a liver and a kidney. And things got really, really serious and bad that according to a lot of people around me, I wasn't gonna make it. And some of the doctors told my family to start making preparation and arrangement for funeral homes and so forth to get ready, just in case, because they didn't see no hope. But thank God that so far in the history of the state, I didn't even wait a whole month
Wow.
to
That's-
receive the organs. And nevertheless, May 9, which was Mother's Day, I remember a week before I will tell my wife, I said, I'm sad because I'm not going to be able to take you out for Mother's Day. She said, the best gift I could get is that you get out of here.
And you did, and here you are today. So
Mother's Day, I got the call. They found both organs from the same
which
cadaver.
is very rare, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did the transplantation, and to many people's amazing and surprise, a lot of people thought they had given up, but I never gave up.
Never give up. It's
And
nice.
and by a miracle of God, I got my organs, and that's when I started learning and educating myself about organ donation, because I was an organ donor in my license, but I didn't know what was that all about.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the issue. And I think it's important to tell people, number one, obviously you can sign up through your license. And when we go to get our driver's license, that's one of the questions that they ask you. But it goes beyond that. And before I wrap it up, I want you to tell folks what they also need to do. Because it's not just signing that license, it's talking to your family.
Yeah, that is so important. Talk to your family because they are going to honor your wishes. That is why I like to tell the stories, because sometimes people looking at a story or listen to the story say, oh, if something happened to me, I want to save life. And I tell you, there is a difference. It's the difference between saying, my son died, is a big pain, or my son died,
And save
comma,
someone else.
and save 6 lives.
Yeah.
You can save 6 lives or 8 or 3. All are so valuable.
Very nice to see.
Yeah.
What's a number that people can call, or a website if they want to get more information, maybe in Spanish?
Just giftofhope.org and then Español.
Español. Very easy.
Yes.
Giftofhope.org/Español.
630-758-2744.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. You are all heroes as well because you are spreading the message. So I appreciate you all for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the
All right.
opportunity.
All right.